All right, hey everyone. Jammer here from Jammer's Wrestling Magazine Collection, and today it's now time to see the year of 1997. That's right, the year of 1997. This year here, we start off, boom, PWI. It's the NWO's confidential dream roster. We see the Ultimate Warrior, Bret Hart, and Sabu on the cover. Let's take a look. This right here, we got Rey Mysterio as the centerfold. But let's see who the dream roster is. We have Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, Sting, Sabu, and Jerry Lawler, Raven, the Ultimate Warrior. That's it, I guess. Then we have a sweet fight with PG-13, Sir Wolfie D and JC Ice here. So right off the bat, the NWO's hot in '97. This would have been from late 96, of course, because of how time is with these magazines. But right off the bat, we have NWO hitting it hard. Same with January '97. It could happen. Hogan's next move by WCW for the wrestler. So again, we have two in a row of NWO on the cover. We also have a story of good grief. Undertaker's loss will give him new life. We even got the old scrapbooks in here from 1972 and 77. So, and some random photos of wrestlers doing random things. There's Road Warrior Hawk, Tito Santana, and Sergeant Slaughter with the American Wrestling Federation title belt, the old AWF title, which was a cool wrestling organization. I liked it. Inside Wrestling for January '97, we get Sunny on the cover. Dreaming of a Sunny Christmas, our holiday wish list for the stars. There's a hot seat with Farouk with that ridiculous helmet on that looks like something you'd get an egg in right at a supermarket. Barry the Stalker Windham, The Hunt for Glory Part 2. Yeah, that was the time frame. Can this new click? Shawn Michaels reaches out to The Undertaker. So, this is definitely about fall of '96 they're hitting with these stories. Nothing wrong with that, of course. Fall of '96 was pretty good, to be honest. I mean, I liked it, but January '97, the Stone Cold Click and other predictions for '97. Of course, they were predicting Austin and Shawn would end up tagging that year, and they did in May of '97. So, some truth to that. And February '97 for the Raw magazine is the one with Shawn and Bret on the cover. Is Planet WWF big enough for both? We would find out in 11 months that it wasn't, but for right now, there they are. For February '97 of the PWI, Mr. Perfect, Shawn Michaels Stole My Life. And down here, the new Razor and Diesel must go. Well, I agree with that too. That was pretty bad. We got Sid Vicious here for the photo. But yeah, Mr. Perfect, Shawn Michaels Stole My Life. Talking about that. So their SummerSlam '93 match was not that good. I remember everyone was excited for it, but it just didn't live up to the hype. For the wrestler for February '97, we have wrestling's top stars, what 1997 has in store for him. There's Hogan again, NWO Chaos, Sunny checking on Austin, Shawn bad again, and Sting back where he belongs. Well, Shawn did turn bad, but it wasn't until around late August that it happened. So, and these are the predictions in here for everyone: Sting, Luger, Ray, Savage. WWF ones, ECW and USWA get predictions, and X-Ray on Jeff Jarrett. So, all right, Inside Wrestling, February '97, boom, NWO. Man, they were big then. They were so popular. Kevin Nash, Hollywood Hogan, and Scott Hall. And up here we got who's more popular, Shawn or Bret? Vote inside. So solid cover. Solid cover. Let's see what we got here. Trouble in Eagleville. Is there an NWO within the NWO? Well, we would find out. A year later, there was when NWO Wolfpack and NWO Hollywood took place. And then we got the story here. You settle it. Who's more popular, Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels? I think in this time frame, Shawn Michaels probably was. I really do. I think Shawn was more popular than Bret going into 97. February 97 for the WWF magazine, we get, I did what I had to do, but I lost what I have to have. Can Shawn Michaels come back? Talking about Survivor Series 96. He gave up his championship to help Jose Lothario after Psycho Sid hit him in the back with a video camera. So this talking about Survivor Series plus an exclusive Royal Rumble preview, all in this magazine from the WWF. Next up, March 97 for PWI. We have the 1996, the year in wrestling. We got Harlem Heat as Tag Team of the Year, Shawn Michaels, Most Popular Wrestler of the Year, Sonny, Manager of the Year, Hulk Hogan, Most Hated Wrestler of the Year, Ahmed Johnson, Most Improved Wrestler of the Year, and the Giant was Wrestler and Rookie of the Year. We'll go through all of them, though, again, just to see who all was here. Let's see if I can get to the... I want to get it right. Is this it? Okay, here we go. The Giant, like I said, was Rookie of the Year. Steve McMichael, Rocky Maivia, and Joe Gomez were runner-up. Jake the Snake Roberts was Inspirational Wrestler of the Year with Jushin Liger, Ahmed Johnson, and Rey Mysterio Jr. as the runners-up. Ahmed Johnson was Most Improved Wrestler of the Year with Chris Benoit, Stevie Richards, and Taz as runners-up. Sonny was Manager of the Year with Jimmy Hart, Jim Cornette, and Bill Alfonso as the runners-up. Vince McMahon versus Eric Bischoff was Feud of the Year with Ric Flair versus Randy Savage, Mankind versus The Undertaker, and Jamie Dundee versus Wolfie D as runners-up. Most Hated Wrestler of the Year. Oh, wait, hold on, I missed it. I missed Most Popular. Most Popular was Shawn Michaels. That was Randy Savage, Psycho Sid, and The Undertaker were runners-up. But Most Hated was Hollywood Hulk Hogan with Goldust, Jerry Lawler, and The Giant runners-up. Match of the Year was Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart from WrestleMania 12 with Shawn Michaels versus Mankind, Sabu versus Rob Van Dam, and the War Games match from WCW as the runners-up. Harlem Heat was Tag Team of the Year with the Eliminators, Rick and Scott Steiner, and the Gangstas as runners-up. And Wrestler of the Year was The Giant with Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, and Ahmed Johnson as runners-up. So there it is, your 1996, the year in wrestling, for the PWI Year-End Awards. Then, the wrestler for that month gives us 1996, the year in pictures. NWO, Livin' Bad and Lovin' It. Sid, Championship Fire finally lit. Sting, popularity took a hit. Sonny, Best Assets Not Her Wit. And Shawn lost the belt and had a fit. Let's take a look at these photos. Then we got some WCW NWO photos there. Sonny getting slopped. ECW invading a WWF pay-per-view. And the short-lived team of Warrior, Ahmed, and Shawn. And of course the wrestling personalities who passed away that year. Inside Wrestling gives us Roddy looks back at his rowdy career and why Bret's execution will be excellent by WrestleMania. Survivor Series, who would have won a War of the Winners? So they're talking about Survivor Series in here, hyping up that show, what happened, talking about the results. There's a hot seat with Stone Cold Steve Austin with one of the strangest looking mustache goatee combinations I've ever seen. But there it is, Inside Wrestling. We have for Wrestle America now, Spring 97. Again, NWO, Hogan on the cover. There it is. The NWO is taking over the WWF. Let me try that again, folks. The NWO is taking over the WWF Next. I don't think it did. Magazine within a magazine. This is the 20 greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. I can see them right here. We got Steamboat and Savage from WrestleMania 3, Ramon and Michaels from 10, Hogan and Andre from 3, Flair and Savage from 8, Hogan and T against Piper and Orndorff from 1, Savage and DiBiase from 4, Hogan and Warrior from 6, Brett and Michaels from 12, Savage and Warrior from 7, Hogan and Savage from 5, Hart and Piper from 8, Diesel and Shawn from 11, Brett and Owen from 10, Brett and Yoko from 10, Hogan and Bundy from 2, Piper and Adonis from 3, Bigelow and LT from 11, Undertaker and Diesel from 12, Piper and Goldust from 12, the Battle Royal from WrestleMania 2, and that's it. But we got some photos here of Warrior and Hogan, and we have photos of a bloody Bret Hart from WrestleMania 8 with Roddy Piper. That ain't no way to treat a friend, apparently. And we have Flair and Savage from WrestleMania 8, the one that got too personal. So that's pretty cool. March of 97 for WWF, we have Ahmed Johnson on the cover with the Nation of Domination, Farouk and PG-13. Can one man overcome a nation? Ahmed Johnson faces the challenge of his life. That, of course, was going into WrestleMania, where Ahmed would choose Animal and Hawk, the Legion of Doom, as his partners to face Farouk, Crush, and Savio Vega in that big Chicago street fight. March and April of 97 for the Raw magazine is Goldust and Marlena there. So that's when Goldust was a good guy now. He was going after Hunter Hearst Helmsley in the Intercontinental title. But in this book, we also got, Shotgun Saturday Night Explode. So that's when that started. Shawn and Brett, when words get in the way. It's just it was Honky Shakes, Rattles and Rolls, the Dragons. I must be looking back to when Honky Tonk Man beat Ricky Steamboat, the Dragon, for the Intercontinental title, and a complete history of the Intercontinental title. So not a bad magazine right there. Let me get a swig of water here. Yes, it is water, folks. I'm drinking water tonight. No Caesars or Clamato Pluses, as I call them. All right. Next up, we have April of 97 for PWI, and we have now winning the title saves Psycho Sid. How winning the title saves Psycho Sid's sanity. We got Sid as champion now. He won it at Survivor Series, like I showed on that other magazine of the WWF cover. Also gives you more unofficial awards from the that didn't make it in the last year end award in March, right? So Hollywood Hogan, of course, the centerfold. What else do we got here? There's the Vicious Cycle completed their Sid story. So not too bad. For the wrestler of April 97, we got Sting on the cover. Who screwed up this man's mind? The shocking truth about Sting on page 34. 16 former champs picked the winner between Brett and Shawn, so there's that. I guess that's right here. These are the champions. What else do we got in this one? Looking back at the Sheik versus Dick the Bruiser from 1960 with Matt Brock, who's not a real person, by the way. Matt Brock is a fake writer for these magazines. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. There's the article there. So neat. That's a horrible cover, though, right? Like that's really bad, but whatever. Inside Wrestling for April of 97. We got the 1997 computer tournament. Can Shawn retain his computer crown? Big Nash there. Former friends, former partners. There's a nice picture of Shawn. There's a nice picture of them together. And there it is. Kevin Nash, who won? Kevin Nash defeats Shawn Michaels 4-3 to win the tournament. So Big D lost in 95 to Vader. Comes back to win the 97 one over Shawn. Up next for April of 97, we have WrestleMania 13 Heat. The Undertaker, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and Psycho Sid on the cover there. Pretty cool cover. Makes me think that, Undertaker was going to wrestle Sid at that event and Bret was going to wrestle Shawn. That didn't happen. It was Bret and Austin, of course. But, yeah, still a cool looking cover. Next up, we have May of 97 for PWI. March Madness, you're an embarrassment, says Brett, and your old news, says Sean. Again, so this was really, Sean and Brett in 97, that was a big deal. There's Chris Benoit and Woman, aka Nancy. Won't say any more about that. Here we go. March Madness. There's Brett and Sean. Brett and Sean were actually wrestling each other at this time in 1997 in house shows or matches taped after Raw. They weren't wrestling on TV though. And sometimes they would add Psycho Sid in and make it a three-way for the title. But Brett and Sean were working each other then. They just weren't, it wasn't televised, so that's, I don't know, they did get along, I guess, to a point where they could work each other. May of 97 for the wrestler. Hogan's Headache, the pain is Piper, and the remedy is revenge. So, yes, Roddy Piper in WCW. Again, Sean, Brett, one of them must leave the WWF. Really, look at this spotlight on Scott Hall, showing his past there in the AWA with Kurt Hennig and such. There's the Hogan's Headache story. The pain is Piper, and the remedy is revenge. Of course, Roddy Piper beat Hulk Hogan at Starrcade with a sleeper hold in an untitled match, but did not get the title from Hollywood Hogan, unfortunately. Inside Wrestling for May of 97 gives us, hey, little man, what you gonna do? The Giant and Hollywood Hogan once again. And look, up here, Brett and Sean is the Sean Brett popularity poll scandal. Shocking details inside. So, yeah, where are they now? With Fritz Von Erich, Tatanka, Jerry Valiant, and Mr. Wrestling 2. We got, let's see, a story here on the many men of women who she's managed, talking about WCW with the Horsemen, ECW with the Sandman, Kevin Sullivan and Tasmaniac, and the Sean Brett popularity poll scandal. So it's all there. For May of 97, for the WWF magazine, we get a sweet cover. This is awesome. The Bart Foundation. It's Bret teams with Springfield's favorite son. There's the Hitman. This, of course, is around the time that Bret Hart appeared on the episode of The Simpsons and bought Mr. Burns' house. But unfortunately, it had, ew, old man stank or smell or whatever he said, right? Like that's... And apparently that was Bret's voice. It didn't sound like Bret, but they said they wanted Bret. Bret stated in an interview, they said they wanted him to sound like an old grimy wrestler and not like himself. And I just never understood that, but whatever. May of June of 97 for the Raw magazine has the Vader Bloody Vader on there. That's from the In Your House in February with Vader, Austin, Undertaker, and Bret for the title. Vader's definitely a bloody mess on there. So, but still, that's such a cool magazine cover. For June of 97 for the PWI, we got the 1997 PWI poll. I've talked about this before in other videos. Let's see what we got in here for. We got Ahmed Johnson as the centerfold. Who are the top? Let's see who the top things were here by the fans, apparently. Who for pound is the best wrestler in the world? We have Rey Mysterio Jr., then Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero, Misawa, Bret Hart, Jushin Liger, and Dean Malenko. If you'd only watch the matches of only one wrestler, people pick Shawn Michaels and Sabu, Rey Mysterio Jr., Steve Austin, Chris Benoit. Tag team went to Rick and Scott Steiner, then the Road Warriors, Midnight Express, Harlem Heat, the British Bulldogs, the Hart Foundation, and the Eliminators. Which North American Federation has the best quality wrestling? I went WCW, WWF, and the ECW. And who would win a match between Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan? People pick Shawn Michaels over Hulk Hogan. Which is the premier federation in North America? WCW, WWF, and ECW. And who rules Monday nights? WCW with 63%, WWF with 33%. So, again, the fans, I guess, decide that. It's interesting, though, to read that now and think back at what was going on then. And, there's some truth to, I guess, some of those polls. I don't know. In 97, I would say WCW was beating the WWF. but only because WCW is running live shows every Monday. You know, Raw wasn't. Raw did taped shows, which hurt them. June 97 for the Wrestler. Sid brutalizes Bret. Hey, Sean, this one's for you. And again with the NWO on the cover, this time attacking the Giant, kicking the Giant out of the NWO. We got some colored photos in here, I think. It says bonus color. Unless there's not. Oh, yeah, here we go. Sting and the Giant. That's sometime in 1996 for sure. Flair and Luger. That's from 91, just judging by that hairstyle. Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. That would be from 97, early 97. And Andre the Giant Hogan, probably from WrestleMania 3, I'm guessing. But there it is, the Wrestler. Inside Wrestling for June of 97. Ahmed Johnson reveals, I almost joined the Nation of Domination. Well, guess what? He did. He actually did join the Nation of Domination in June of 97. So, ironically, because this is June 97, but yeah, we got Chris Benoit in the capsule profile. There's the Ahmed Johnson story. Yeah, I used to hate it when it looked like this trying to read. I mean, it's hard to read with the. They could have just left it all like just normal color, not those dark blotches. Use them, then lose them. How the NWO condemned its second squad. Okay, well, all right then. June of 97 for the WWF magazine has The Undertaker with the WWF title. That is from WrestleMania 13. The dark days are upon us. Undertaker captures the Federation Gold. This would be coverage of WrestleMania 13 in here. Undertaker, of course, going back to his gray gloves and boots gimmick here for this win. A throwback to his first title win in 91. Cool cover if you're an Undertaker fan, though, for sure. Oh, I should show this too, since June is also the first time of summer, so this would make sense. Summer for this. Wrestle America, 21st Century Promotions here. We got NWO, the Outsiders have the edge. BWO, This Ain't a Joke, and NOD, Strengthening Militant Force. Right there, the magazine within a magazine. Talking about what wrestlers went good to bad and bad to good. There's Luger and Barry Windham. Right there from Florida. We got Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart right there, definitely from a house show. And the Road Warriors. They've turned 3 times, but they'll never change. So, yeah. Even when they became bad guys, fans still like them. July 97 for PWI gives us Steve Austin, Stone Cold and Uncensored. The picture there is on Diamond Dallas Page. We got, where's that stuff? Steve Austin right there. And we also have a story here, it looks like on ECW, the Eliminators, talking about your status chart is our hit list, because wherever they rank, they're going to attack everyone that was above them. For July 97 for the Wrestler, we have Infighting Politics Egos, is the NWO losing its edge. There's Scott Hall giving Scott Steiner a outsider's edge from NWO Sold Out in January. The WWF ECW relationship, who benefits most? There's when the ECW guys were on Monday Night Raw, and Jerry Lawler speaks out against ECW. So introducing Prince Iukea, though. But yeah, so ECW is now getting involved with WWE, or WWF, I should say, at the time, which was kind of exciting to watch. Which federation will benefit most? There's Paulie looking at a picture of Vince. So yeah, that's kind of neat when both those organizations kind of helped out each other. July 97 for Inside Wrestling is House of Horrors. 4th world title change in 97. Can the Undertaker restore order? He did. He held it till SummerSlam. We got colored photos in here. We got Hulk Hogan and talking about questions like he's the best friend I ever had. That's God. It makes me sick. Magazines without my picture on the cover. Psycho Sid, they do one for him. They do one for Jacqueline. And they do one for Ahmed Johnson. So there's your posters in that issue of Inside Wrestling. For July of the WWF magazine, we have What a Rush. It's Doomsday for the tag team ranks as Animal and Hawk make their triumph return. That's right. The Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, they're back. They're in the WWF. They came on the Monday Night Raw episode that ECW is on in New York. They wrestled the Headbangers there. They end up wrestling on WrestleMania. But they didn't really do much, right? They won the tag titles once. They held them for like a few weeks and then lost them to the New Age Outlaws in 97. But they did come back. Vince gave them another chance. For July and August of the Raw magazine, we have The Truth Behind the Hart Foundation. Was it a scam from the start? I still love this magazine cover. It's killer. It looks awesome. It's definitely from May of 97 when Bret had the bum knee. He was doing the wheelchair gimmick. Just cool right there. Look at that. His whole family protected him. This was the bloodline before the bloodline. You know what I'm saying? Like if you think about it, there's Roman Reigns, there's Jimmy and Jey Uso, there's Solo Sikoa, and there's Sami Zayn, right? That's exactly what they did. And the Hart Foundation did it first in 1997. But that's such a cool looking shot. We have August 97 now. And I showed this before. It's the super cards. So I don't really need to get in too detail with it again. But I will show the photo in here because I do love showing these off. We got Hollywood Hogan and Dennis Rodman spray painting Lex Luger. We got Bret Hart trying to hit Steve Austin in the head with a ring bell while he's getting choked out. And we got Taz suplexing Sabu at Barely Legal. So I showed this in the Supercards video. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and do so. August 97 for the wrestler. Again, we get Hollywood Hogan and Sting on the cover. Dream match, Sting's bat in the side of Hogan's head. This was going to happen sooner than later, of course, when Starrcade was coming up. Can Kimberly and DDP ever recover? That's when Savage and Liz were attacking them. What a feud that was in 97 with Randy Savage and Diamond Dallas Page. The trilogy of matches they had at Spring Stampede, Great American Bash, and Halloween Havoc were just incredible. Anyway, if you haven't seen them, go watch them on the WWE Network right now if you want. But yeah, very cool. Inside Wrestling for August of 97, we get Bret Hart lashes out. You're all responsible for what I'm about to do. That, of course, was going heel, becoming a bad guy, forming the Hart Foundation. And he did just that. There's Lex Luger for the capsule profile. Lex, of course, I believe it's 4% body fat at the time, they said. Which I believe. The guy looked pretty good. Sting, how can we get from here to here? I preferred this Sting better over this Sting. That's just me. There it is. Bret Hart lashes out. So, there she goes. Of course, I liked... Was Bret really a bad guy, though? I mean, everywhere he went, he got cheered except for in the USA. So it's maybe the American fans were the bad guys, right? I don't know. I think that's kind of how they wanted to paint that picture back then. August of 97 for the WWF magazine, we get Bret Hart again. It's Bret and The Undertaker. Heart and Soul. That's, talking about SummerSlam. They're going to wrestle each other for the WWF Championship that August with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee. That's a cool looking photo, though. Cover. That's a nice one. And for... do we have another? Oh, no, I guess that's it. That's 12. We're on to September now. All right. We got September. NWO over? Yeah. Again, Nash, Hogan, and Bischoff. We're not united. I'm in charge here. Everything's just fine. We have Bret Hart as the colored photo for that one. We got The Fans Are Turning Steve Austin Into a Wimp by Brian Pillman. You would know him well with being a Hollywood blonde and such. We got NWO Over. There's that story. It's getting hot at the top. The sizzling WWF World Title scene. Ahmed Johnson, Steve Austin, Farouk, and Vader all going for The Undertaker. No brother Sean there, though, which I find kind of weird, but whatever. September of 97 for the wrestler, we get the WWF mid-year report. We have Brett, Bitter and Spiteful, Owen, 1-1 for Brett, Sable, Slammy Success, Austin, Reluctant Hero, Undertaker, Bearing the Competition, and Vader, International Instigator. We got some bonus colored photos in here. We got Brett and Austin from WrestleMania 13. That's the match of the half year. We got Ahmed Johnson trying to conquer a nation. Owen Hart landing his first WWF singles title, being the Intercontinental title, dropping a leg drop on Bob Bug Holly there. And The Undertaker versus Mankind, Till Death Do They Stop Feuding. So, yeah, I always like this cover. I always like the pink here. There's just a cool look to it. Inside Wrestling for September, we get the NWO anniversary report. There's Hollywood Hogan and Dennis Rodman, Eric Bischoff, Hall and Nash, and of course Savage and Elizabeth. No colored photos in this one, though. Where are they now? Joe Blanchard, Nick Busick, Tom Zip Pritchard, and Vicky Williams. Joe Blanchard, of course, is Tully Blanchard's father. Forget Tyson, Shamrock. If you're a wrestler, prove it. I guess Shamrock was looking to fight Mike Tyson at the time. Terry Funk at 53. It only hurts when I stop. You know, it's crazy to think people thought like Terry Funk was an old man back here at 53, and like Chris Jericho is 52 right now in AEW, and no one says he's an old man, right? Like, well, they probably do, but it's just not talked about on television. They're not. I don't know. AEW isn't saying Chris Jericho's an old man, but ECW pretty much, you know, said Terry Funk's an old man. He's here, and that was the whole storyline. So. That was something. September of what do we got here? Is this one? Yeah, fall of 97. So Wrestle America. Strip Hogan of the title, it's up to you. This is again the 1997 Guide to Independent Wrestling. I've talked about this before where they talk about the indie feds here with there's Billy Kidman right there and Cheetah Master from ECWA. There's Christian Cage versus Johnny Smith. I had no idea who Christian Cage was at this time when I had this magazine. George South versus Rock Jordan from PWF. And Dan Severn and Dory Funk Jr. NWA Champ versus NWA Legend. So again, in here they talk about the different feds like Sunshine Wrestling Federation, Tennessee Mountain Wrestling, Texas All-Star Wrestling. They tell you if it's on TV, like Tennessee Mountain Wrestling TV availability, CVTV Channel 12 in Knoxville, Mondays at 10 p.m. So there you go, right? I didn't get that. I don't live in Knoxville, but it's nice to know if you're in Knoxville back then you could have seen that wrestling. We got for September of 97 for the WWF magazine, it's Sable and Wildman Mark Merrill. Trouble in the Jungle is Sable looking to leave the Wildman behind. She did eventually. And of course, this was talking about, you know, Wildman came back pretty soon as that boxer gimmick, Marvelous Mark Merrill. That sucked horribly. It did. He was better off as Wildman Mark Merrill, but they tried something with him, tried to get, you know, because he was a former boxer, but it just didn't click with the fans. September and October for Raw magazine. You wanted it, son? Well, here it is. In your effing face. An exclusive interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Cool looking cover of Steve there. Nice. We got next up October of 97. Shawn Michaels, is his heart still in the WWF? It was, but I know he wanted to go to WCW to be with his buddies, but it didn't happen. Singled out with Kevin Nash, try it is twice the fun. We got the Giant here as the centerfold. There he is. Good old Giant, Paul White. There's the Shawn Michaels story. Is his heart still in the WWF? There he is with a slammy. He won a Slammy. He must have his heart still there, right? Vader. Oh, this is when Vader's out of control and the WWF loves it. This is when he got into that fight over there in Kuwait. And there's the Undertaker chilling like a badass, just like whatever. That's neat. For October of 97 for the wrestler, it's how long will Shawn and Bret go? An ugly feud gets uglier. That's when Shawn super kicked Bret when he stood up out of the wheelchair. Let's see what all's in here. Kimberly, even DDP can't help her now. That's when the whole thing with the NWO and Savage and Elizabeth. There's a spotlight on Sunny and her career from Smoky Mountain Wrestling to the WWF. Looking back, Larry Zbyszko versus Scott Hall from January 86 in the AWA. My guess is someone came along and found those pictures and said, we'll put them in this magazine. And there it is. How long will they go, or how low will they go? An ugly feud gets uglier. So there it is. The Wrestler, October 97. Inside Wrestling for October 97 is the WCW Mid-Year Report. Sting, Silent Hero, Hogan, Champ or Chump, Nash and Hall, Menacing Duo, Flair, Inspired Comeback, Page, Diamond, Sparkles. We get some colored photos in here. We got Scott Hall, a big headache for WCW, giving a bulldog to Bunkhouse Buck. Roddy Piper, an icon, gets his kicks, kicking Scott Hall. Diamond Dallas Page, Nightmare for the NWO, looks like he's pancaking Joe Gomez. And the Giant, not just a chokeslam specialist, kicking, looks like Booker T, I want to say. So, at least you get some colored photos in that one. For October of 97, we got Have Mercy, the hippest cat in the land. Dude Love struts into the Federation. Mick Foley now, putting the Mankind persona on the back burner, coming in as Dude Love, winning the tag titles with Stone Cold Steve Austin, trying to be like the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, I guess. So there it is. The Rise and Fall of Shawn Michaels, part 1 is in this. So I guess apparently he was having a rise and fall moment in the WWF. I didn't know that, but that magazine seems to tell us so. For PWI, for November 97, we get WWF WCW Deathmatch, PWI's plan to prevent Armageddon. There's Vince and Bischoff on the cover there in cartoon form. We get Mr. Monday Night Rob Van Dam as the centerfold here this month from ECW. There's the story on how to stop the evil Armageddon between the two. Owen Hart, he's earned the right to be selfish. So there's that. For November 97 for the Wrestler, we got 10-Year Grudge, Lex Luger's career ruined by J.J. Dillon. And again, there it is, message to the WWF, make Bret and Shawn wrestle or dump both. So Jeff Jarrett, I was the Horseman's last hope. That's when Jeff Jarrett was kind of a horseman. It's hard to say if he was or not. He kind of hung out with him, right? A Royal Pain, can we bear Hunter Hearst's reign as king? No. Actually, yeah, we could. It wasn't too bad. It didn't even feel like he had a reign, right? He won the crown and kind of destroyed it over Mankind's head. And there it is, our demand to the WWF, make Shawn or Bret wrestle or dump them both. So, nice. I had that magazine as a teenager. I had a lot of these as a teenager, actually. Since wrestling was pretty popular in 97, it was pretty easy to go out and find these and get them. November 97, I had this one for Inside Wrestling, the WWF Warzone. Jerry Lawler versus Tommy Dreamer, Chris Candido versus Tom Pritchard, Sabu versus Flash Funk. So the WWF versus ECW war was going strong. There we have a capsule profile on big sexy Kevin Nash. Let's see if I can find there it is. There's the Warzone. We have Tommy Dreamer and Jerry Lawler going at it in USWA. Then we have the ECW stuff. We have Sabu and Flash Funk on Monday Night Raw. Tom Pritchard and Chris Candido in ECW. And they were wrestling all over the place at this time. I mean, people said the NWO was an invasion of WCW, sure, but they were all WCW contracted wrestlers. These were, two organizations, ECW, WWF, and even USWA. So 3 organizations like going at it here. So it was neat. Now we have, for November 97, Why Sean Why? Vic Venom's theory on the Michaels Hart conspiracy. That, of course, is when he hit The Undertaker and hit with the steel chair, busting him open, creating the Bad Blood Hell in a Cell match. We got the rise and fall of Shawn Michaels part deuce in here. But this could be the fall right there when he went heel. You know, he turned on the fans and attacked the Undertaker. Like, why? Like, what was the point? Brett's a villain. Brett's a heel here. Why make Shawn heel too? It made no sense, but oh well. November, December. We'll put this up. This is a really horrible cover. Did the Titan suits instigate a war? Bret Hart and the Patriot. I never liked this cover. I always thought it sucked. I'm a huge Bret Hart fan, but still, this is just a horrible cover, but had to have it, of course. For December of 97 for PWI, we have Ken Shamrock's Deadly Climb to the Top. There he is going after Owen Hart. And for the cover photo, we have Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth as the color poster inside. The WWF's light heavyweight division, the 10 ways to make it a success. It was not a success. It never was. WWF always botched the light heavyweight divisions when they try them. Ken Shamrock Ken Shamrock top to the climb. Oh wait, it's supposed to go like this. His deadly climb to the top. I see. Well, that was pretty bad. Technically, you're not supposed to like go down and I don't know. That seems weird. Okay, well, whatever. But there it is. December of 97 for the wrestler, we get the top 10 face-off at WWF versus WCW when worlds collide. Owen Hart versus Jeff Jarrett, Bret Hart versus Dallas Page, Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Lex Luger, Ken Shamrock versus The Giant, Mankind versus Chris Jericho, Vader versus Dean Malenko, Goldust versus Syxx, Brian Pillman versus Chris Benoit, The Undertaker versus Hulk Hogan, and up here we got Steve Austin versus Randy Savage. So where are the colored photos at? We got Randy Savage, number 4 in WCW. Okay. We got Bret Hart, number 3 in the WWF, even though he's saying he's number 1 here. Dallas Page, number 3 in WCW. And The Undertaker, number 1 in the WWF. There it is. Kind of a shitty looking cover, but yeah, whatever. Inside Wrestling. Losing is bull. Has Dennis Rodman had it with Hogan? There's Luger giving Hogan the torture act there. Steve Austin's views on sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So, there's the capsule profile on the European champion, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. A stable. Jeff and Deborah's horsing around unites Mongo, Flair, and Benoit. The bottom line, according to Steve Austin. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Jeez. That's how popular Stone Cold Steve Austin got. You can pretty much write any article about him, put his face and name to it, and people are going to read it. December, for this is winter 97, though, but it's like this is the December version. Who would win wrestling's Tough Man contest? For the magazine within a magazine in here, we got Wrestling's Icons, a decade of highlights and lowlights for 10 superstars. There's Flair and Stinger there. Here we got Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat from Wrestle War 89. Here we have Shawn Michaels and the British Bulldog from Saturday night's main event where Shawn won the Intercontinental title. There's Diamond Dallas Page, Raven, and Diesel. Actually, here was Diamond Dallas Page, Scotty Flamingo, and Vinny Vegas. And there we have from Super Clash 3, Jerry Lawler and Kerry Von Erich for the AWA and WCCW and CWA titles. Unification match there. So there we go. Now, December of 97 for the WWF magazine. This was only released in Canada, this cover. The Hearts declare war on Michaels. This is from the UK pay-per-view where Bulldog lost the European title to Shawn Michaels thanks to interference from China, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and Ravishing Rick Rude. So we see Owen Hart, British Bulldog, Bret Hitman Hart, and Diana Hart Smith on the cover here. The cover of the USA one, which I don't have, is Stone Cold Steve Austin on the cover, like like doing a hunting thing or something. It was really weird, but yeah, I like this better just because I'm a fan of these guys. So I'm glad I have this one. If I can get the other one though, I would, of course, but I'm not too worried. For the holiday issues now for PWI, the PWI 500, we have Bret Hart, Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, Taz, Dean Malenko, and Diamond Dallas Page on the cover. The poster here is of the man who got number 1 that year, that being Man of 1,000 Holds, Dean Malenko. Let's see who the top 10 were that year. At least we got Dean Malenko, Misawa, Steve Austin, Diamond Dallas Page. Number 5 is Lex Luger, The Undertaker, Hashimoto, and The Giant comes in at number 8. And number 9 is Jushin Thunder Liger, and Chris Benoit is number 10. Number 18 was Shawn Michaels, 19 was Randy Savage, and 20 was Bret Hart. So that's how low they were that year in the PWI 500. We have Holiday 97 for the wrestler. First Owen, then Taker, then Hogan. Who's going to go next? I guess I'm not sure what this is about. Maybe, I'm guessing guys who lost the title, I'm thinking. Yeah, title turmoil. That makes sense. Shane Douglas with the ECW title there with Francine. That's when he beat Bam Bam Bigelow for it at November to Remember. So I'm guessing, or it could be when he beat Terry Funk and Sabu for it at Hardcore Heaven. That's possible too. What's the last one here? Oh, we got 2 more here. Okay. We got Inside Wrestling, Holiday 97 with the calendar book again on it. We got the Steiner Brothers here. Sting, Worst Freeloader, Shawn Michaels, Worst Personality. That's the 1997 Turnbuckle Turkey Awards. Is there photos in here? No. We got a story on Alex Wright, though. Just wonder, Ken, doing the right thing the wrong way. I guess Alex Wright went heel here. The Patriot risking his career for his country. That's when he was feuding with Bret. That didn't last long. Patriot was in the WWF for 3 months and then gone. And last but not least, we got Winter 97 Wrestling Yearbook Insider Scouting Reports. We got Sting, Undertaker, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Kimberly Page, and Stone Cold Steve Austin there. Again, this is remember I showed you the other one, the cartoon photo next to the wrestler. But the photos in this one, we have the Giant versus Scott Hall, Ahmed Johnson, Sabu versus Taz, Steve Mongol McMichael, Davey Boy Smith versus Headbanger Mosh, Shawn Michaels doing something ridiculous, Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Prince Ayukea. There's Kimberly Page, Hawk versus Henry Godwin, Bret and Owen Hart, Ultimo Dragon versus Psychosis, Hollywood Hulk Hogan with the WCW World title, Farouk versus Savio Vega, China, Roddy Piper versus Big Sexy Kevin Nash, The Sandman with a nice cold beer and a cigarette, Psycho Sid versus the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, Macho Man Randy Savage with Elizabeth, Terry Funk versus Chris Candido. That would probably be from Palooza 97. Goldust, Lex Luger versus Booker T from Nitro. The Loose Cannon, Brian Pillman, Scott Hall versus Ric Flair. Getting ready for an Outsider's Edge, it looks like. Ken Shamrock, Big Dick Dudley versus John Cronus from ECW. The Undertaker, Jeff Jarrett versus Booker T from Nitro. There's Sting, Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Mankind, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So there's that. That's Inside Wrestling Presents the Wrestling Yearbook. All right. There we go. 1997. What can you really say about 1997? Except for it was the last year officially of the new generation for the WWF. It ended at Survivor Series when Bret Hart left. And it was a few weeks later where Vince McMahon came on Monday Night Raw and pretty much said that the good guy versus bad guy gimmick, storyline, whatever, is done with. It's now a shade of gray. It's now, there's no more this guy's good, this guy's bad. And that was the beginning of the Attitude Era. And, you had D-Generation X at the time. Shawn and Hunter were doing the suckets and crotch chops. You had Steve Austin doing the middle finger and swearing. And wrestling in the WWF after Bret left was just, it was different. And that's why, to me, the new generation ended at Survivor Series. It started in October when he beat Ric Flair for the championship, and it ended Survivor Series when he lost the title to Shawn. As for other things, and WCW was on fire. The NWO was hot still. It was the most popular thing going. People wore NWO shirts. It was just so big. And again, it goes to show, like, if Diesel was a really bad champion in 95, when he left in 96 to go to WCW, how did that work then, right? Why did WCW get so popular? People followed Diesel and Razor there to see what they were doing. And then when Hogan turned heel and joined them, they were off to the races. In 1997, they were full steam ahead. WWF had a lot of good stuff happening. They had the ECW invasion and stuff like that. But having live one week, taped the next, hurt them. Nitro was live all the time, and that helped WCW out so much. And Bischoff knew that. He didn't even have to give away the spoilers to Raw when they were taped. He knew Nitro was going to get the ratings, and they did. WWF Raw, though, had good television when you look back at it that year. When I go through the network and see what was on, now I would pick WWF over WCW. The only reason why WCW was popular and got watched then was because it was live and people didn't know who was going to join the NWO, or was the NWO going to come out, or what the cruiserweight match was going to be, or whatnot. So that helped them big time. But if you were to put both shows and run them up against each other now, I still feel WWF would probably win 50% of the time. It wouldn't be an 100% WCW like it was in 97. ECW finally got on pay-per-view in 97 with Barely Legal and Hardcore Heaven and November to Remember. ECW got noticed a lot in these magazines. Their stories were there. It probably helped that they were working with the WWF too, of course, but it was just 1997 it was a fun year. It was a fun year. If you were an Austin fan, if you were a Hart Foundation fan, if you're a Shawn Michaels fan, if you're an NWO fan, if you're a Four Horsemen fan, if you're an ECW fan, it was just a fun year. That's pretty much how I can sum up 1997 for professional wrestling. So, okay, you at home watching this, did you like 1997? What was your favorite, federation? Was it WWF? Was it WCW? Was it ECW? Did you have to buy these magazines to catch up on things? Like, were you missing stories? Like, I know for ECW, if you didn't get their TV, you missed a lot of stuff, right? And you've used these magazines to get the answers. So, but again, these magazines for 97 were pretty good. Heavy NWO influence, a lot of Hogan on the cover, and a lot of Bret and Shawn too, right? So, yeah, there it is. 1997 in a nutshell. It was just Bret and Shawn, Austin, NWO, and ECW invasion. There it is. But man, it was fun. And if I can go back and relive all that again at 16 years old, and it would be fun to do it again. It's fun to go back and watch it now, but back then to watch it live and have it happen at the moment, yeah, it was fun. Very, very much a fun time. All right, this video, almost an hour. That's cool. I didn't think it was going to go over an hour just because, I didn't have there's no WCW magazines. I don't have any of those or anything to show. And of course, these magazines got less. Like I don't have any wrestling superstars, I don't think, for 97. There's no Sports Review Wrestling anymore, so I have what I have, and that's that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, subscribe, like, comment. I think I'm up to like 73 subscribers now, which is pretty damn cool, I gotta say. I thank you guys for coming along for this ride with me. It's been fun. I'm gonna keep doing it. I have a lot of ideas still to come. I'm gonna try to hit up other years too, and I'm gonna try to do like a certain wrestler and do their magazine covers sometime. So just keep watching for those. They'll come around eventually. But all right, thanks for watching, and until I do another one, I'll talk to you guys later.